How's it going? How's it going? How's it going? Some more. It's Politics with Laura here. And man, how can I say the Democratic talking points has not served them at all? Zero. Period. Period. Nada. And the ones who are getting beat the most, redistrict the most, gerrymandering the most, losing their congressional seats the most, are the Congressional Black Caucus. Oh my goodness. When you see people like him, James Clyburn, right? Now to me, he reminds me of Uncle Ruckus on the Boondocks. Don't they look alike? Don't they? Well, he will be losing his seat. He was throwing his weight around like, no, Kamala Harris, I got seniority, and what I say go. The rest of you Democrats bound down to. He was really feeling himself. He was feeling himself. And the one that really, really embarrassed, you know something? And she's not even Black American. She's not. She's Caribbean, I think, Jamaican American. And how she got into Congress, they call her the twerking Congresswoman. Oh, we all remember her. Tiara Mack. She twerked herself into Rhode Island. And they're like, I've never seen anything like that. Oh my good, let's elect her. Yeah. But besides her, Democrats. If you think that abortion is the main thing on Black Americans' list, and matter of fact, Democrats have done zero, next to nothing for Black Americans, while saying, you know something, those Republicans are white supremacists. They're white supremacists, they're racist. They're all these things. And when you look at what Democrats have done, they make the Republicans look like prairie dogs, okay? Because they have this way of, how can I say, this way of coming next to you, saying, I'm down with the fight. Oh, yes, we got to aboard the ship. We got to put as many clinics that aboards the ships in these Black and brown communities. We got to make sure that they're going in there, making their lives just as miserable as possible. The first things what they want to do is aboard the ship. But the interesting part about it is when you look at the percentages of people who aboard the ship are not Black Americans. Yes, Black Americans do. Black Americans, women have done that, and minority communities have done that as well. Also, white women have done that as well. So to force it upon Black Americans and minority community as that is the number one thing on a Democratic ticket, you're out of your rabbit jumping mind. You are. You're missing everything what people are saying. You're only focusing on the talking points that benefit a small group of people. In fact, the Republicans are saying, wait a minute, wait. This has to stop. Because so many women are aborting the ships in small places like in the Northwest, in the central northern plains, to where, look, people are at an age to where when they do get pregnant, it's like, wait a minute, I got to go to school. I'm trying to get myself out of poverty. I can't deal with this. And it's happening in the smaller areas more than, because the rural areas, there happens to be more rural areas than there are in big cities. So it's happening more so out in the rural areas to where they're saying, well, we need to import people to do these jobs. Democrats, that's what you say. We have to import people to do the jobs while you're saying that Americans are not smart enough to do it. What? What? You have to import people to work while you're pushing aborting the ship. That's one of your talking points. But it and it's ridiculous. And it doesn't stop there. And immigration. Okay. You're saying, well, we need to bring more people here to do these jobs. We need more people here because Americans are not smart enough. And when Barack Obama, the former president Barack Obama, came out and started chastising, Negro, please, start chastising Black American men. Now, people call him black. No, he's not. No, he is not. Let's most definitely put it where it is. His mother is a white American. His father is a Kenyan. He never had any Black American experiences. The only person who did is Michelle Obama. And she more so has an upper middle class elite. And I'm going to call it an elitist because if you see how she moves, you'll see it. But Barack Obama had to marry Michelle to give himself legitimacy within the Black community. But now he's a contradiction because on one hand he has deported a lot of people. You got to stop and really think, who was he deporting? Latinos. And let me see. I said this before. By me being a DMV area, the illegal immigrants that I knew were intelligent. They were not at any rallies screaming. You can't make look. You knew illegal immigrants. Look around. You're not very smart because you're hanging around with a Democratic Party who is telling you to throw yourselves out there on the front line to get captured by ICE. I mean, you don't see the scam? You don't see it? Okay. But however, bringing in people, importing people, but this is the thing. One thing that former President Barack Obama did, which I thought was real dirty. That was dirty. What you did over to Africa. You basically told the African countries, Kenya, look, your own people kicked you out of Kenya. Yeah, yes, your own people. That was dirty what you did. Forcing these African countries that they had to accept the LGBTQ to come within these countries, and that's not their culture. It's not what they do. The majority of the people are not down with that. Now, if it occurs, keep it to where people can't see it. But they're saying, if you want this money, you're going to have to allow these nonprofit organizations to come in and to do these things. That was dirty, Barack Obama. You did that to your own people. And if you do that to your own people, Black Americans don't mean nothing to you. I'm just saying, if you screw your own country people over for $1, you ain't nothing. Okay? You talk about the economy. You're over there giving all this money to the Ukraine, all these other places, even before President Trump got in office. Now, it's like, oh my goodness, look at what President Trump is doing. He's spending all this money. But remember when the war first kicked off? Remember when you were getting these text messages saying that your mobile cell phone company was giving free calls, free texts to people in Ukraine, and then saying that the U.S. is going to give Zelensky all this money to pay for people's retirement, all this other stuff, paying for payroll. Remember that? But that right there is completely okay. But when President Trump sneezes, it's like he's doing this. But, you have to look at both sides. By me being a political independent, I look at both sides equally. It's just that Democrats do a lot of dumb things and they mess up big time. Make Trump look like Pillsbury Doughboy. You all do some ratchet stuff. As a former Democrat, I see the play. And crime. Now, this is the interesting part. You're like, okay, be tough on crime as long as you're a Black American. Now it's as long as you're Black American and Latino. Oh yeah, you too? You're not going to sit there and look at los morenos ahí están criminales. Yeah, you're out there saying that. And then all of a sudden now it went from Black Americans to poof, you. Now you're on a chopping block and seeing you out there, man, getting caught by ICE, getting caught by the police. And guess what? They're building more jails while saying those horrible Republicans, they are evil and they are racist. Now, I'm going to do another video on Latin America, Latinos, and mejorar la raza, and how that pertains to here, and how they operate here within the United States. It's look. Imagine seeing somebody like Nick Fuentes, who is a light white passing Mexican, taking the Confederate flag and swaying it around. You can't make it up. But you'll never see him going to Spain talking that mess. They're like, hot damn, right? That's exactly what's going to happen. He's going to make himself look like a fool. Then they have another talk about racial equality. Everything with the Democratic Party is about race. Man, I remember when I was brainwashed. I'm just like, man, white people, these white devils, they're horrible people. They always want to keep somebody down and blah, 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 blah. Man, I took the hook, line, and sinker. I did. I was like, white people, they're out to get you. They're out to, put their foot on your back. There are some white supremacists. I'm going to say it like, I'm not going to call them a racist. I'm going to call them white supremacists, because you don't have to be white to be a white supremacist. You just have to uphold the ideology to keep this system running. Now, there are white people who are like, bring this down. Bring it down, because not only Black people don't benefit. Hell, I'm white and poor and I don't benefit from it. Yeah, there are more poor white Americans in this country while they're talking about racial equality. Look in places like West Virginia. I'm just going to leave it right there, because there are a lot of states that are not strong economically, and they basically have a low. Okay, I'm going to leave it right there. And these are here the talking points. Now, LGBTQ issues. Now, what I find interesting is this. LGB. They are a sexual preference, right? TQI are identities, right? And talking to people is quite interesting. Now, I gotta say, the TQIAI are very interesting. You're very interesting, because you even have racism in there. Now, I remember last summer, I was talking to this Latino guy from El Salvador, and we were talking, and then he started talking about the LGBTQ and the issues that they were having, and then it was civil rights. I'm like, no, that's not civil rights. He's like, well, yes, it is, because I am oppressed. And I said, let me ask you, what do you identify as? He says, well, I'm gay. I said, is that an identity? I mean, what did he say? Queer, something. I don't. Okay, I'm not going to try to remember exactly what he said, so I'm going to use gay. He said he was gay. and he was using the sexual preference as an identity. And I told him, I said, look, I'm going to say something to you. While you're saying that you are gay, you are removing yourself from your people, right? The Latino community, the minority community, you are removing yourself and putting yourself right over here as being gay. You want to know one thing white people don't do? The white LGBTQI, they will say, this is me, but they never remove themselves from their community, because together, they're stronger together. Even though that you have the Main Street white community / culture may not agree with what they do in their spare time, but they're not going to disassociate themselves from the group, because even though they don't like it, they're strong politically together. They're always on code. And then you have those minorities who remove themselves from their group and say, I am LGBTQI, and that's where I am, and that's where my people are. I said, we had a longer conversation, but that's for another video. Now they'll talk about inflation. The Democratic Party has expressed concerns about inflation. Well, if you're concerned about inflation, then you would look at these companies that are raising prices. We go like, well, oil prices, gas prices, everything is high. Well, yeah, it is high, but check this out. We got reserves. We basically have our own oil. We pump our own oil. We got the Zapata, oil rig out there in the Gulf of America. Okay, I'm going to leave that one alone. You got up there in Alaska, just rolled over Venezuela and took over their oil, but our gas prices going up? No. That's from the companies that you allow them to to ream our pockets. So, then it goes on to trade unions and healthcare. It goes on to those things. No matter what, Democrats and Republicans move the same bird. But here, as I was talking about the gerrymandering and congressional redistricting, redistricting, it's interesting to see. Okay, the redistricting congressional maps, right? Now here, Jasmine Crockett, she's a cautionary tale. Anybody, who was watching could see that she was going to wind up in this situation. Now, Democrats have done so much and going off the beaten path so far that it turned Republicans into, this is what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to do this. We're going to have to, do what we can to bring people in. Now, here's where MAGA comes in. And people are like, oh my God, you're a MAGA. You are ultra conservative. No. Ultra conservatives do not look at as MAGA as anything conservative. MAGA is considered ultra liberal, to be exact. So, go ahead and talk to real conservatives. They will tell you, please, they don't represent us the way they're supposed to. No, they don't. And I tell people, MAGA is not Republican. It's not Democrat. It's not independent. MAGA is Trump. Trump supporters. Now, they support in different ways, like Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro were Trump supporters because they got something out of it economically, right? Not that they were diehard Trump supporters. No, they were diehard money supporters. And then you had the average everyday person that was like, I'm so sick and tired of Democrats and Republicans. I'm tired of it because we are being ignored. If you're a Democrat and you live in areas to where there's mining and some type of manufacturing, and also whether if it's coal, they're being ignored, saying, well, vote for me. Like Hillary Clinton went down to West Virginia. vote for me, and I'll make sure that these places will stay open. I will work with your neighborhood, your state officials, and we will work something out. Really? Right? And you had all that going on. Now, what she did was she was like, screw you, Black Americans. I'm with the illegal immigrants. There are more of them coming in, not really considering that 1 out of 10 Latinos can vote. 1 out of 10. Not looking at 10 out of 10 Black Americans can vote. Well, she put all her eggs in one basket and come out and say, "Hey, sister girl," and then she would talk down to Black Americans as if we don't speak English, proper English, which some of you outside of the Black community say, "Well, you speak Black English." Excuse me? You got to stop and think who colonized this country. You got to stop and think it was the poor Europeans that did not speak English well that brought that English. Don't put that on Black Americans. Let's not do that. No. You know who she got beat by? Wait a minute. She did all that stomping for illegal immigrants. And guess who beat her? James Tallarico. James Tallarico went and swooped up all of those votes. And Jasmine Crock is out there stomping immigrants, illegal immigrants. I'm fighting for you. I'm fighting for you. Well, guess what? Illegal immigrants and immigrants didn't vote for you. They voted for him. Dude, look, Jasmine, you're too dark. You are too dark. Remember, they have something called mejorar la raza, and you are not mejorando la raza. You're not. You're too dark. You're muddying the water. It's true. You could get politics with Laura. How dare you say stuff like that? That's racist. It's called prejudiced, right? You're prejudging. And not only that, and not only prejudging, but you're also discriminating. We all discriminate, whether if you discriminate color, whether if you do that, because we all do. You might like pizza and you might like pizza with extra cheese and mushrooms. That's discrimination. You might say, hey, politics with Laura, that's not how it works. Look up the definition, okay? That's all I'll tell you. But she did that. Not only her doing that, and don't get me wrong, he's still a Democrat. He's still a Democrat. It doesn't mean he's going to win. It just simply means that she lost out big time. We'll see about that. We will see about that. But the Black Congressional let me change my background. The Black Congressional Caucus has basically rendered themselves irrelevant. So irrelevant that Black Americans are not even doing anything to help them. The ones who are the ones who are immigrants, whether if you're a direct immigrant or a first generation immigrant who are screaming now to have the Black Congressional Caucus to come and to do something. Help them. Well, why would Black Americans help the Black Congressional Caucus? They have done very little for Black American people. And keep in mind, the 60s is the one that pushed so much so till we got a lot of legislation passed. The Black Congressional Caucus came into play, 1971, 1972? And didn't they screw Black Americans over in 1973? I mean, you can't make this stuff up. So, you may say, well, what is it, Jim Crow 2.0? Okay, it may be. It may be Jim Crow 2.0, but how has the Black Congressional caucus benefited black Americans, strictly black Americans, because we know how they feel about illegal immigrants. We know how they feel about the LGBTQ. We know how they feel about abortion. We know how they feel about everything else but black Americans. That's why you're losing. You're losing your seats. You're losing your districting, and you're having the Republicans taking over. And you know what black Americans are doing? They're doing this. Go ahead and go ask your illegal immigrants to go ask your illegal immigrants to come help you. You're the one who is stomping for them, so let them that have no voting rights, let them that have no legal standing in the United States, let them assist you, and we'll just sit here and watch. Eventually, you'll get some act right. Eventually, you will. So it's quite interesting to see the way things are going. The Democratic Party are catching L's. I mean, L's are just. Linda Carter, Wonder Woman. You're getting all these L's. The L's are hitting you. But Democratic Party is falling apart. And my question to you is, what are your thoughts about it? Please like and subscribe. And on that note, I want to thank you for stopping by.